Good morning, everybody. This is Michelle with Creative Operation and Country Craft Creations. Happy Valentine's Day and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to share a walkthrough, talk-through for this new project that I made using some papers from the Love Letters collection that I've been using from Country Craft Creations. This is an exclusive paper collection by Country Craft Creations and it's absolutely gorgeous. So I've done several projects with this, and the last one of the last ones I did was this really cute Valentine advent calendar, kind of an countdown to Valentine's Day, with little boxes that you could put treats or notes or whatever in. And I kind of had another idea that was another little type of a goodie project. So anyway, I wanted to share with you what I created with this today. And I did share it on Scrapbookers, and I said there was a nice little surprise inside. So you probably have guessed that it's going to be a box inside. But it's a little bit different. And Sally, if you're watching this, this is because you keep going to the dollar store, or should I say the $1.25 store now, and coming up with projects using supplies that you can get from there. We have one that's just opened up near my house, and it has some great craft supplies in it. So I have been kind of going there a little more frequently than I probably should now, but I created something that I think you guys might like. So what this is, it's huge. It looks, like a book. It has a spine like a book, but look, it is very wide. And the reason why is because when you open it up, what I created was like a gift box / album. So let's look at it from the top view here. So when I decorated it the top because there's such a nice wide area here. I decided to put flowers on the top. On the front, I did the tag, one of the tags from the collection, and then I had these flowers from my stash. Fussy cut out a couple tickets. I did some inking on the edges, and I used boxes from the dollar store, the $1.25 store. These boxes, I bought them and I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with them, but then I had this great idea. So what I did was I took 2 of these and I painted the edges and covered them with pattern paper, stacked them, glued them together, and I made kind of a cabinet out of it. Now these boxes are actually quite large and they will hold a bigger kind of goodie or present. So these boxes here that I made from the chipboard, or not chipboard, the cardstock, are 2x2. These are a little bit bigger than 3x3 as far as the outer dimensions go. So basically what I did was like I said, I painted the edges with some metallic bronze paint that I thought matched this paper collection really well. On the inner boxes, I covered everything with pattern paper, and I did have to measure because the boxes aren't quite square. So I think it was like 3 1/8 by 3, I think, at one measurement. So if you do this, you will have to, measure the boxes and make sure how big to cut your pattern paper. But after I put the pattern paper on, I did use my crocodile, of all things, to punch a hole in the side of the wood here to put my handle. This is a knob from Tim Holtz that I had in my stash. So I didn't punch a hole through the hole here because I was afraid that this would be flimsy because this is cut out. So what I did was I put this at the back of my drawer, and I took a couple pieces, just little squares of chipboard, glued them together, and then kind of glued them in between the layers of the pattern paper. So that way it was a little more sturdy and it won't get a finger poked through, with that hole. And it did solid the box up on that side, but I did punch the hole here for the knob, and I did use my crocodile, my long reach crocodile, and it worked perfect to get it centered in the box. So for the inner boxes, I did paint the entire inside. So if you look at the inside of the box, the entire inside is painted. I didn't want to put pattern paper in here because I was afraid that it would get a little too tight. because these do fit pretty snug. So I just did the pattern paper on the drawer part, but on the shell part of it, I just painted on the inside. I painted the edges because I knew I was going to cover those with pattern paper. And I think it turned out really adorable. But then when I did it, so like I left enough room so that the knobs would have enough room. So depending on what kind of pulls you have will depend on how wide your spine is. I made this at 4 inches. I added some lace from my stash on the spine here over the covered or the pattern paper, and I just kept the back of it plain, and on the front I decorated. So it kind of, from the front it looks like a book. On the top you're kind of like, what's going on here? And then you open it up and you have this nice little cubby. So there's 2 drawers, and I think that that's a really cute place to put a nice present. Really fun. This would be really cute in all kinds of different papers. This could be, you know, a Christmas present, birthday present, you know, whatever. But I think it just turned out really cute. So then I was like, but I've got all this space here. What am I going to do with this space? So I did create just a real simple trifold kind of pull out with some of the pattern paper that I had left over. Okay, so you could totally put photos here. This was one of the wood hearts that I've been playing with this collection, and I just put it on some, you know, pattern paper on it and cut it out, inked it, and then put a little ticket on the front. And then it just ties with a pretty little seam binding bow. And then on the spine, on the inside spine, I was like, okay, so it still needs something. So what I did was I just created a nice little pocket. Because the spine is so wide, I really wanted to use the space. So I just created a pocket, and then with tags that I had left over from the collection, I cut those out, inked them, and put those in there. So this is a really beautiful gift that can be an album and also a gift box. And then it just closes up, and I use seam binding to close it. I did use the lay flat method on this cover, so nothing new there. So it looks like a book, but it is way more than a book. And I just think it turned out really pretty. So that is kind of my project. On Scrapbookers, I said, you know, it's a little bit deceiving because there's a surprise inside. And yes, there is, because it's the drawers. And the biggest surprise of all is that it's 2 dollar store, you know, boxes that you can buy, and then you can decorate them, you know, any way you want. So again, if you're going to do this, measure your boxes, because they are really, they're not all the same. So do measure your boxes when you put your pattern paper on. Make sure you get your mats straight. I can't emphasize that one enough. And then the other thing too is that, you know, if you have scrap pieces of chipboard, just cut out little squares, 2 little squares, glue those together to make the thickness of the wood here. And then what I did was I put my pattern paper on the front, and then put my square on the inside, you know, on that pattern paper, and then put the pattern paper over the top. Don't put your knob through that hole. Leave that as the back of the drawer, and put your knob through here, or whatever kind of pull you're going to be. I just wanted to kind of bulk this up so that I didn't accidentally like stick my finger through the pattern paper, you know, just kind of solid that side up. But that's what I did. So that's kind of a really quick and dirty walkthrough, talk through. But if you go to the dollar store and you grab a couple of these, and you have some scrap chipboard, some scrap pieces of paper, because this honestly didn't take that much, you could come up with a really cute gift for any occasion, and it would be absolutely beautiful, you know, as a decoration, because you can decorate the top. You have lots of real estate up here. You could totally do a whole bunch of stuff. So, you know, I'm thinking for Christmas, you could put like a Christmas tree up there and some presents and, you know, all kinds of different stuff. So that's my project. So I hope you like it, and I will see you soon with another tutorial. Thanks for watching. Have a really beautiful Valentine's Day. Bye-bye.